Oh.
That I tried. Yeah, at the Dementia Center. And
Oh,
this-
God bless
I thought
you.
you were. Somebody else was wiping
Yeah, I thought
your
somebody
ass.
was wiping your ass, but you were doing the ass wiping.
Yeah, I had.
You didn't like it?
I loved it. Dude,
The look on your face is epic. Like, oh, I loved it. Just, I feel like one of your eyes is about to start twitching. You're like, oh, it's great. She's like lived for it. Her whole life was leading up to this moment.
Some
Emery.
people like it. I don't know.
And if they do like it, probably you don't want them working with old people. I'm just saying it's fucking weird, Emery.
Yeah.
I was speaking about him as like all of his amazing characteristics. What's the first question she asked me? Ooh, how big was his?
Yeah.
It's none of your business.
That's my mom.
But normal size. We get it.
That's what I told her.
You're
listen.
gonna be disappointed, Mom.
Yeah. I mean, in truth, no. It was quite nice. He looked like he was carved out of onyx. He was gorgeous.
Nice.
I'm not gonna lie. I felt like I was punching above my weight on that one. I just, whew, he is so fine. But
Where is he now?
How now, Brian Cow? All right, are you guys ready?
Let's go.
All right. Hey, welcome everybody to the Psst, Did You Hear That podcast with me, Imre, Mehesz. No, we have to start with a clap.
Yeah.
All right, so we clap so I can synchronize the audio.
All right.
Say 1, 2, 3. Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody to the Psst, Did You Hear That podcast with me, Imre, Mehesz, and
Flo Funny.
And our guest today is Marge Geddes. Did I pronounce it right?
That was close. Margie.
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 I was gonna say I've been saying Margie, and I've heard other people at open mic say Marge, and then I thought, am I saying it wrong?
No, it's Margie. I
because
thought
it's Marlena.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you go by Margie.
Margie. Yeah.
I like that. I like Margie.
I like
Thank you.
Marlena actually better. But it's
Marlena's
whatever.
pretty, but like I said earlier, nobody can pronounce it.
That's dumb if they can't pronounce it.
We saw how hard it was for people to pronounce Kamala Harris. So
True.
Marlena's got just as many A's. It confused all the white boys.
All right, I'm deleting all this political stuff right now.
That's not political. It's phonetics.
There. Exactly.
Some people believe that's why she lost the elections, because people couldn't pronounce her name.
You know,
Wow.
there is something to name
Did you hear that?
recognition.
There is.
You heard it here first, folks.
No, but that's what they are saying, that because Trump was first, right? I think. But Trump is a recognizable name. Everybody knows who that is.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So she should have run as Mrs. Trump, I think. But
I always
Right.
said, honestly, Melania was my girl, man. Any woman that wants to get butt naked in a magazine and people giving her crap about it, I'm going, that's the body positivity right there. Like, I'm not going to hate on her. She was smoking hot.
who?
Melania Trump.
Oh, her husband or her wife?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
yeah.
she was hot 20 years ago, yeah.
She's still fine.
She's still, yeah. How old is she? She's pretty.
Listen, she's holding it together as best you can
Yeah.
as
No,
a
for
Slavic
sure.
woman. Come on.
See, and I'm like, dang, why do women have so much pressure to look great until, like, what do you expect? Like, we're supposed to look amazing till what? We're 85? The
They want you
vagina's
to-
going to drop.
At least 85.
And men
No,
don't have
no.
this pressure.
No, they
I
don't.
do have pressure. I'm self-conscious about my body.
Tell me more.
You read my mind.
I want to hear more about this man's self-confidence issue.
I do. I wish I would have bigger muscles. I wish I didn't have a stomach. I wish I didn't have a double chin, but I cover it with a beard, right?
Oh.
Now, you guys can do. I mean, you can do.
I
that
mean,
if you
I
want to.
tried to grow my beard out, but unfortunately, it's only like 4 hairs. So I get that waxed
You're
regularly.
You're like the old Chinese kung fu movies with the long beard, like throwing it. But it's only like, it's not like a big beard. It's just like
It's like 4 hairs that are really long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the point, though, is that she has all of that at her age, but she's still...
I
like you
was
said,
joking.
like,
All right,
well,
please
well, look at her.
kill me now. I was joking. Obviously,
I know,
she's hot.
I don't know.
So.
Hold on, Emery. We'll help take you down off the cross. We're sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just... I don't know. Maybe
Our
it's just
bad.
one of those days I'm just like,
Yeah,
ready
you're
to
like,
fight.
What?
Who's ready?
Let's go. Ding ding.
All right, cool. Well, I hope you had fun. Thank you for coming. I'm just kidding.
That's
Have a good night.
No, there is. It's one of my favorite stories. There is a guy. Maybe I brought him up already, but he is called the 16-second podcast, and it's
Oh,
literally
I've heard of those.
16 seconds, and that's it.
Yeah.
Sometimes the other person doesn't even have time to talk. He's like, "Hey, welcome everyone to the 16-second podcast. Today we're gonna talk about what do you think about this? Thank you. Have a good day."
Ding!
And that's it.
Turkey's done.
It's hilarious. I don't know if he's still doing it because I
That's
haven't
good
seen it forever.
for the younger generation that has no attention span.
Oh.
No attention span whatsoever.
None.
It is crazy. But I think I'm getting there myself.
I think we all are.
Driving,
Yeah, I think we are. I
So-
am too. Yep.
So I love to look at things like, and I talk about this regularly with people, watching how social media has conditioned us to the goldfish mentality. I think it's actually, there's a specific term for
Goldfish?
it. Goldfish. Yeah. Basically, it's a marketing term that is coined because throughout all of our social media and everything else, we are basically being conditioned to have very short attention spans so that we are more impulse driven in our shopping, as well as our inability to critically think. Like nobody can hold like their attention longer than like 15 seconds.
Makes sense.
Like you can think reels and everything else for it, which I'm not mad at because, that's what we use to promote ourselves. But
Yeah.
I can't stand that, I have to have a sound bite. Like you know me, I'm a much longer format comedian than
Yeah, we all know that.
story
Yep.
time.
kiss my whole Arabic ass, Imre. Like just pucker up, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, there are different kind of comedians, right? So if you don't make me laugh in like 5 seconds, I'm like, all right, this guy is a storyteller. So if you go for longer than 5-10 seconds without a laugh, I'm like, all right, that's a storyteller.
So basically, Imre, you're sitting there going, there's Marlena's joke, chapter 1, chapter 2. Oh, we're finally getting to the arc. Okay.
That's why I'm glad that the mics are only 5 minutes long. You know what I mean?
But right. I am a storyteller too.
Yeah, I
but
Know.
It's
That's
always
why I
a
brought it up.
struggle. I always gotta trim the fat. Trim the fat.
Here's what I because Bryce and I were just talking about because he was asking me how to make his set better, right? And to me,
How much time did you have?
This is how I write my stuff. I found something that is really funny. I think I perform it. If people laugh, all right, this is funny.
Yeah.
All of my jokes are based on a 10-second, pretty much a 10-second thing, 10-15 seconds. If they are laughing, I'm going to build around that. I'm going to try to add more tag. So I work backwards. So all my stories, even the minutes long stories, are built from the first sentence that I thought was the funniest, and I build around it. Either I put it in the end, beginning, middle, blah, blah, blah. And that's how you build up a set. That's how I build up a set.
So I think my process has been, since I started doing this, I took specific anecdotes out of my life that had a funny ending, right? So for example, when my mother shaved our family poodle and it was dragging its ass on gravel, chafing through motorhome parks.
Your mom or the dog?
Well, honestly, wouldn't put it past her to be doing the same.
Sorry, that's a low-hanging fruit. I had to take it.
I will always say make fun of my mother because she is the lowest of the low-hanging fruit.
Same here.
Oh, God. You
Yep.
want to talk about punching down. Shit. So
Are you guys talking about boobs right now? Because that's what I was thinking.
I mean, honestly, she
Yeah.
did breastfeed my brother, and
like-
she now looks like a full-on Ubangi. Like, we're talking, like, she came straight out of the pages of National Geographic.
Mine too.
I'm telling
Down
you.
to here.
Yeah.
Down to the knees.
I'm
Yep.
going, ladies, I don't know what happened. I think his second kid just sucks the life out of him.
Whoa. Okay, so boobs are girls' ball sack.
1,000%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we have the same thing. The older
No, but
you
mine
get.
are. And actually, speaking of, for me, it's very relatable because they're very sensitive. But a lot of women don't have sensitive boobs.
Oh.
I wouldn't say that mine are sensitive. I will
Mine are.
say that mine are temperature adjusting.
I like that.
Mine, just like a
they're
man's ball
bigger
sack.
or smaller?
No, like a man's ball sack. If it's hot, they want to get away from my body.
Sure,
They
yeah.
will hang a little bit more.
Oh, interesting.
When it's cold, they tighten up and they're
Oh,
just
yeah,
like,
you're right,
they
you're
stay
right.
close
No,
to the body.
absolutely.
You're right.
Yeah, my boobs are my balls.
If I go
You're
into the
right.
ocean in April, definitely.
Sucked
like
up.
Oh,
Yeah.
like a bag
Shoot.
of peanuts, really.
Yeah, inside.
I really appreciate the fact that if I get into the ocean and it's chilly, it's basically like getting a free boob job. I love it. They
Nice.
float. They're lovely. They're like
Just
right where they
up.
need to be.
So why don't they make bras with like ice packs in them? You know what I mean?
Ooh.
Well, because eventually it would melt and ice pack. Right. There's your $1 million idea, Emre.
There you go. There you
A
go.
bunch of women are going to run around with frozen boobs because of this podcast. This is where the tide turned. But yeah, no, I think I'd start with like a premise, right? With like something that was funny.
Oh, is that what we were talking about? Okay.
Yeah. Well.
I'm glad that you got back because my
Yes.
ADHD
I'm
brain.
Oh,
really-
I'm great. That's what I'm so good at. Tangent,
Alright.
tangent, and then
And then
wait,
back.
we'll find
That's
our way
really
back
good.
home.
That's really
Very
good for
good.
comedy.
I'm here to help you keep your shit together.
Thank you.
Woo.
I bring order to the chaos. Not at all, actually. But so I start with the premise like that. So I've got these different anecdotes throughout my whole life that I'm like, okay, I'm going to use that as the premise, and then I'm going to build around that and really just elaborate and, falsify and dress it up, put lipstick all over those pigs,
Okay.
That's basically
I
it.
mean, that's fine. That should work.
But the thing is, I do it on stage. So I'll start with my premise in like a couple of lines. And then with each mic that we go to, I will add or subtract. And based on the laugh I get from either comedians or the audience, I will take note of, okay, that addition worked, that didn't. We're going to sub this in. And that's what I do. I wish I could write jokes the way that some of you guys do.
No, there is nothing wrong with that because, for example, when I started the first year, I was very robotic because of the setup point. So I felt like I watched myself. First of all, do you record yourself?
Yes,
Okay,
I do.
so
I don't.
always
I
record.
don't record all of my sets because, and this just comes down to me being a shit brick. I never seem to have enough charge on my phone.
Oh, okay, sure.
And the people that do record my sets all seem to have Apple.
Always ask me though.
Okay.
I could send you on WhatsApp.
There we go. See, I've actually started teaching people how to use like the WeShare file sharing. Where
Oh, we share. Yeah.
yep, that was something I learned when I was up in New York because I've got Android. Everybody else has Apple.
It's only been around for 20 years, guys, but that's cool.
Listen,
I don't.
I'm clearly not an early adapter. Okay.
I don't even know what it is.
See, so it's basically a website where you upload a large file, multiple gigs or whatever, and it will generate a link for you. And then you can text that link to whomever, and then they can download
For
from there.
3 days or 2 days.
Yeah, it's
So
only
if-
available for 2 days.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
because I was always doing Google Drive,
I mean, I'm a Google Drive person, but yeah, I use WeShare. I use
but
WeShare.
that sounds
so.
good.
Yeah.
Simple.
I don't like giving
it's
people
called WeTransfer.
WeTransfer. That's what it is. Yeah,
WeTransfer.
WeTransfer.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Emery.
Yeah. Well,
Ask the tech guy.
The tech guy, yeah.
Yeah, he's here for
Actually,
all
my
of.
dad showed me that many years ago.
Oh God. That's like my grandmother teaching me how to use Skype. Mm.
Is that
But-
still around?
Huh?
Skype? Is that still around?
I don't know. Is it?
I haven't used it since since I was using it with my grandmother during the Syrian civil war, and she was on top of a building
Oh,
wow.
my god.
during rolling brownouts.
Did she get signal with Skype? Because Skype was horrible with signal.
She got signal during the rolling brownouts, but I just remember she was sitting on top of the building and she's like, "Oh, hold on a second," and I'm like, "What's going on?" She's like, "Oh, I can hear the bombs." I'm like, "I'm sorry, what?" She goes, "It's okay. They're like they're
I used to work with Middle Eastern guys.
yeah."
Wow.
And they were like, "Oh, just a bomb went off." I'm like, "All right, are you guys gonna make the meeting or?"
Are you
Yeah.
gonna
We're working here. Like, okay.
Yeah, she told me how close they were. I'm like, "That's Green Cove." So to like, you need to come home. Like, fly home now. She's like, "Oh, it's fine. It's fine."
Wow. See
I
that?
firmly believe, honestly, they sent her ass over there to start it. Because if anybody was going to stir up a war, it's that woman. She could. Oh,
They said I can't use Skype, but let me show you.
but I think WhatsApp has replaced Skype now, right?
Oh yeah, and it's a whole like
no,
Facebook.
there is so
it's a
many
whole
apps
community.
now. It's not.
No,
It's
but
not
no,
just
but
one.
No, but WhatsApp is like a Facebook now. Like
Really?
the whole it's communities.
Really?
You sell things, you
I
buy
only use
things.
it for chatting with groups
Oh
of people.
no, I use it for everything, especially
Wow.
with Brazil.
Did you
that
guys hear
it's
about
huge.
Blue Sky?
What?
Yeah, exactly. I just heard about it like 2 weeks ago. And
I
it's
just
like,
love that we're a bunch of comics trying to figure out the tech world, and it's just like bashing
it
my
is
head into
like,
a wall.
It is like Twitter, so it's a replacement for Twitter because Twitter went,
sucks now.
Well, I mean, I just closed it when Musk took over because I know it was gonna be a cluster. Fuckery.
I want to know why he decided to rename it X. Like, was he really into the X-Men? Does he like Gen X?
I think
he just
I heard
thinks
a
the
story
number
that
10 is cool.
he had that X idea for a long time. He always said he's gonna have a company named X, and I guess he chose this one.
Well, I mean, he already had SpaceX. I just don't
Yeah.
understand why he couldn't just.
And
I don't know.
Tesla X. Is there an X Tesla?
I'm surprised he doesn't buy out X-Lax. I mean, because he basically is one big verbal diarrhea.
I like that.
Thank you.
I
That's
think
good.
he's just. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's smart to a certain degree, but to me, he's like a kindergartner. If something doesn't go his way, he throws a fit. you know?
Well, he literally got fired as CEO of like every company he's worked for. he didn't actually found
He
Tesla.
never invented anything.
Nothing.
He just bought stuff.
Yeah,
which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Steve Jobs did the same thing. He didn't invent anything.
But Steve Jobs was such a charismatic leader. I feel like that man was like what would happen if Jonestown hadn't killed themselves. Like, I feel like Steve Jobs, like the fact that you get people that are such avid Apple fans that they're like, I will never move to Android again. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And it's very much these like pod people. Not insulting podcasts, but like, you know what I mean? It's everything's white and clean and clean. It's almost this weird cult of technology.
It's true for both sides. Like, I know Android people. I'm one of them who would never go to Apple again. I had an iPhone.
You'll never go to Apple again.
No,
Why?
I didn't like it because I bought it. I bought the first iPhone, the second one, 3S, I think. Anyway, I stood in line from like 4 a.m. or 5 a.m.
Oh God, you were one of those people.
Yes. So I got the iPhone.
Wow.
I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Oh, let me change the background on it. You can't. I'm like, what do you mean? It's always just black. I'm like, well, I want to put a picture in the background. I'm like, I could do it on my flip phone 2 years ago. Anyway, that's strike one.
Strike one.
Two. I
There
couldn't
you are.
convert my. I didn't use Windows. I used Linux, and they were
Right.
like, you have to install iTunes to convert the contacts. I'm like, I can't. I use Linux, and they're like, well, bad luck. Strike two. And I don't remember what strike
And
two.
the camera, everyone thinks it's the best camera, that the iPhone has to be the best. And I've seen tons of Androids, like very good quality, sometimes better. So I don't. It's just like an idea that's not true. Actually,
The fact that my Samsung, I've got mine's the Samsung Z Fold Flip 4 or Fold 4. And no, this is not sponsoring this podcast, but if
but
Samsung,
if they want to,
dude, if Samsung wants to send me a new gen phone, I would be totally down because I've beaten this one to hell and back, and it still operates really well. But the camera on this is sick. I have I mean, you can look at the camera. I have cracked every single like outer lens on this camera. You think those cracks ever show up in my pictures? That's a big hell no. It's amazing. Like and the 4K video quality. Or 8K now, excuse me. The 8K video quality on this is really nice.
Yeah. I
I
don't
mean,
know
I
what
would
the hype is.
I would never want to watch myself in 8K. You know what I mean? Like, no.
I
I'm
was
not
pressured. I was pressured to get the iPhone from the avid iPhone addicts.
Oh, really?
iPhone, and it's like you get this peer pressure, like, oh, you don't have an iPhone, like. So I went over to iPhone years ago, but I was Android. But honestly, I don't give a shit about any of it.
That doesn't matter. Take good
Yeah.
pictures. Save my pictures.
That's the most
Yeah.
important thing, and that's where I'm like, hang on now, which one is the better camera quality? But
Yeah.
I did get this is the newest one, and finally, when you zoom out, it's not blurry as hell.
Nice.
Because the 15 Pro Max was blurry,
Really?
which was the
Ew.
last one. Yeah, when you zoom out, and now this one, you zoom out, it's not. So
It took them this long to figure that
it
shit
took
out.
them this freaking long. I know.
Which just goes to show that people are loyal to a brand
Yep.
before a quality.
Oh,
like,
for sure. Oh, no,
so
100%.
And I'll tell you, I was in Europe and when I got I took my son to Europe and we did like a whole tour. I was so afraid that he would get pickpocketed that I didn't notice when I got pickpocketed.
Oh,
Yeah, ain't that some shit? And my phone was the one that had like the GSM signal, like the actual like global signal.
And you could see the rat running with your phone. on the
Basically, yeah. No, it was actually a very, very attractive Parisian man. I locked eyes with him. I knew exactly who stole my phone because I was like, "Ooh, he fine." I got distracted by a man.
Dang.
Oh, wait a second. That's
Yeah, on
like,
the train.
Hey, got
nice.
you.
So he looked at you. You were like blushing, and then
And
somebody
then
else took
the
the phone. 'Cause
fucker
they
got my
work-
phone.
They work in groups. It's never one person.
Oh no,
They work in
there was
groups.
nobody else on the train because it was New Year's
Ooh,
Eve.
a lone wolf pickpocketer. That's
But
pretty
listen,
rare.
he looked
Yeah.
at me and was like, "Easy pickings. Like this woman is out with her kid." But so I got stuck. He took my phone.
His big ass cell phone is hanging out over her icy tits, and then
Pretty much. So, but the sucky thing is like we had all my tickets and shit on my phone, right? So, and I thought I'd be okay because I could use my son's as a backup. He had, I think it was like an Apple, like an iPhone 13 or something. Well, that thing doesn't have a global signal. And so I had to, oh my God, it was so shitty. We had to like hopscotch to different Wi-Fi spots so that I could link up long enough to get directions to wherever we were going. So I just,
horrible.
it sucked balls. It was
on a
so
trip,
annoying.
that's the worst.
no, that's
We missed.
The other day, my phone. I have a Pixel 6, by the way. Horrible picture taker, but my GPS died, and I was at the comic book store, and it didn't come back. My phone couldn't connect to the tower, and I'm like,
What?
I was just standing there. I'm like, what am I gonna do? I know nothing. I know nobody's phone number. I
I'm
know
fucking
where I'm
lost.
going. I know.
Rude.
I know where I go home. You know what I mean? It's crazy. And then luckily I started driving around, and I guess it connected to another tower. But I was freaking out. I'm like, we are dead. If the phones are gone, I don't know who's gonna survive.
Well, especially with them changing, like as a comic, I think one of the things I've started noticing is how often everything around us is changing, like the construction. So I think it's really funny because there was I think it's Good Omens that was written by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett.
Yeah.
And they talk about Crowley as the one that designed the M6 in England because it's such a shitty highway that everyone cusses on it. So basically every time people get angry, it's kind of like winning souls for hell. And I think of that every time I'm driving through Jacksonville. I'm like, every time I drive through Jacksonville and I see how terrible this is, taking the wrong exit, people cutting everybody off because it's so poorly designed. I'm like, oh, we're all going to hell. Like this highway, this is what did it to us. Like we're all going down.
Yeah, and then Google Maps is always, there's always something wrong. Like it says after the exit, turn right on this exit. I'm like, I fucking passed the exit.
You mean
Like,
3 minutes ago?
yeah.
Thanks, Google.
So I have a feud with Google Maps for years because it slows my phone down and it does weird stuff. So I can minimize it, but then I can't really use the other app anyway. So I switched to Waze.
Yeah, I heard Waze is
everyone
very
tells
good.
me
years ago.
in DC, Waze was the only thing I could use.
Yeah, so I
Yeah,
switched to
Waze
that
is
one.
better.
It is better, but if, for example, if I have a phone call and I want to pick it up, I have to go back to the app because Waze shuts off. It's not like Google Maps that it's always on your
Maybe
screen.
that's why I had some trouble.
Well, so Waze, I don't know about yours. On mine, Waze will actually sync up with my phone, and I can use the phone cuts through Waze. Like,
Really?
yeah. So it's one of those things you got to allow. I don't like allowing my apps to cross communicate. I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I don't like all of them listening to each other. The less they know, the better. I don't like when I found out that Spotify actually listens to you talking, and like
they're all listening. Facebook
I know
is
it's just
listening,
so
everything is
annoying. I'm like,
all of them are listening. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is.
I'm
I
not that
understand.
interesting.
It's not about that. It's about
And
what
marketing.
they're gonna
wanna
sell you.
they're gonna
Exactly.
ads.
You know, and
And the different musicians that they're going to put forward, which I think is really shitty because I feel like the music industry, we are losing out on so much good music.
oh, for sure. That's why I like local music. So if there is a concert, I try to go.
Live
especially,
music. I
Yep.
like live
Me
music.
too.
You know, I like
We went on my
post-punk.
birthday. You didn't show up.
I'm sorry,
Lame.
I was out of town, or I had the kids, or I wasn't here.
I know.
Oh.
But I'm just saying, we saw.
Let's consult the excuse board for Emery's availability.
Which one should I push today?
That's most people have a soundboard. He's got an excuse board.
I do have a soundboard also. I have to. I'm doing a 24-hour urine test.
urine test.
Yeah, urine.
Urine. 24-hour urine test.
And this is my second one. They gave me 2 bottles this time, and I'm like, that's 48 hours.
Wait, 2 bottles of what?
He's got a
Pee.
pee
I have
test
to pee in a jar.
All right.
to prove that you're not on drugs.
No, it's a kidney stone stuff. So
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. That's probably really
Sorry.
personal. My bad. I'm violating HIPAA
No,
all up in
there
this
is-
bitch.
There is no. You ask it all.
If- yeah,
Oh,
if
great.
didn't-
I
if
thought maybe it was an ED problem because he was talking about being self-conscious. Maybe he was having a problem getting it up now.
Oh, yeah, that
no.
could be. Well, don't
But
look
I'm
at,
getting to that age. You know what I mean? I'm
don't
getting
look
to
at
that
his
age.
throat because that makes me sick.
Oh my god! So Flo could not look at me when
Really?
when the surgery
his
was
throat.
not because I mean it looks
was
great now.
open.
You know,
It was open.
never
What was it?
open.
Talking to you?
Yeah, he
No,
is the
no,
same
it
day
was
he
it was
did
leaking. It was oozing.
You're an oozing.
Yes. So Flo
wound.
was disgusted. Then
She's like,
was
sorry,
it
your
Tirza?
throat's running.
I think Tirza was freaking out too. He was like, gross, or somebody was freaking out.
Because you had like what thyroid surgery, right? Yeah.
Let's talk about all my medical problems.
All right, that's fine. Listen, we were just earlier talking about the fact that Flo and I don't have proper pelvic floor control. Like being
Yeah.
teachers, I think the thing is like, you know, we have to constantly like hold it all day long. When we finally get done,
But
we're
there
like,
are breaks every 40 minutes. Why do you
no,
have to
there's
hold-
not.
I have more breaks now.
Oh,
Thank
kiss.
I do.
Oh.
I do. Yeah.
But you
Nice.
are you are sobbing, right? So maybe you
So-
are you guys treated differently than a real teacher?
No, actually, so I'm basically treated like a real teacher. They put me in there and they're just like, go to town. No, she gets planning periods because she's a resource.
I was just messing around.
Kiss my ass.
My school is different for the rest of Jacksonville. We all have like an hour and a half of planning period.
Are you
The whole school.
are you
Our
public
school.
or are you charter?
Wait,
Public. We're just very lucky. I'm very
Wow,
lucky. That's
yeah.
why I try not to complain because
An hour and a half?
Mm-hmm.
When?
So
and some days I have 2 hours. planning because I go
Ooh.
from 9:40 and the kids go to lunch till 11:45.
Oh, okay.
Every other day I have 2 hours of planning. So
I mean, I get a break while my kids are at resource, but like, for example, if it's my first time at a particular school and I haven't been there for very long, so like I sub, right? So I go in and I might be there for 3-4 days. If I'm there for a longer period, it's like I can train my bladder. I'm like, all right, ladies, we've only got like this period and this period. Like if you can't take a dump or pee in that period of
Whoa,
time.
That's great. Sometimes
I can't.
I also have
will
IBS.
Oh, yeah, you would suck at teaching. You would shit in front of students.
I would suck at teaching for different reasons, but yes.
I have a small bladder, so I literally go and I'll have to go again. Like it fills up, then I have to go, and then I will have to go again in 15 minutes just because it's a small bladder.
I feel like teaching is like dehydrating me, honestly.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
because you have to talk, right? Like you talk a
Oh
lot.
my God, the
all-
end of the day.
Why do you think I sound like this? Normally I sound very nice and oh, hello.
Do an ASMR voice.
This is
Especially
Marlena.
first graders.
Oh, you know what though? I will say the first graders I've got were really good today, and I think it's mostly because I came in and
Because you went to a privileged school.
I wouldn't say that. It's not, well, it's not Title I, but it's not privileged. But it's, I mean, I can't complain. The kids were really great. I didn't want to drop kick any of them, so I'll call that a win. There's middle school, on the other hand, hang those children. Like,
That's what I teach.
oh.
Except for I have one high school class, so they're manageable.
Really?
But
That's very weird. You know what? No, because when I was high school age, I think we calmed down a little bit. The middle school,
the
we
high
were a
school
little
is
bit rambunctious.
right. You calm down in
Yeah.
high school.
Yeah.
Yep, it hits them usually 8th grade.
I
That's
think
why I'm
that's-
like,
Oh, I
don't
beg to
give me
differ. It hits them 7th.
no, for me,
Really?
at least in everyone's got their own experience, but at least this is my 8th year here. I tell the admin, and other teachers prefer 8th because they just sit down. My class is the movement, so I'm like, I don't want 8th. The 6th are still innocent enough to like want to please you and do good for the teacher.
Right.
And some of them it does hit 7th. That attitude, rebellious phase
It's
hits.
it's hormones. I will tell you.
all
'cause-
of that.
Yeah, because
All
I
of that.
remember in 6th grade, end of 6th grade, I very clearly remember because I went to this tiny little Catholic school. I mean, very small. We had
too.
12 kids in the grade in my class. That was it.
25.
Yes.
So I
What's
can
up? Here's the
understand you.
sheltered
Wow,
sisters.
that's crazy.
And so I remember being in this tiny little school, and in 6th grade was when the minute the teacher said something like, okay, do it, we would be like, she
Yep.
said do it.
Yep,
And then
exactly.
7th grade, it was just balls out hormones.
Oh yeah.
Like, and then 8th grade, you finally start calming down. And I've just noticed, I think now, I will say, over and above everything else, these kids are feral because they went like through that period where you're supposed to be learning manners and all that stuff during COVID. They were in lockdown. And so now they're coming back into Gen Pop and society, and they are just, it's all TikTok dances and like
All
what they
online.
think is acceptable behavior is what they've seen on the internet, and
Yep.
that's it. And it's
Yep.
it's
That's
terrifying. Like I am worried for society as a whole when these kids finally make it out. Like,
Yeah, but that was only really like a year and a half. You know what I mean? Like, you can't blame it on COVID.
But it was a fomentable year because I think a lot of these kids, number one, they are behind grade level in a lot of their stuff that they're doing because the softwares that they're using are shite.
Sure, yeah.
And then number two, a lot of these parents are working like,
Yeah.
you know, you've got both parents working. And so these kids don't have the parental involvement that normally you would have, even to a minimal extent, I think. And so they were all basically screen raised for 2 years straight. And now you want them to come back and get back into a normal swing. I don't know. I'm hopeful, kind of,
I mean-
but
What
I'm
grade was
cautiously
your-
optimistic.
What grade was you have one son, right?
I've got one son. He went to,
What grade was he in during COVID?
he was finishing 7th, he took his entire 8th grade year, which sucks.
That's rough.
I know he missed 8th grade graduation,
All the 8th grade
everything.
stuff.
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel so
All
bad
the
for him.
middle school graduation
And
stuff. yeah.
freshman year.
That's
He could have gone back to school, but we were not very comfortable with how Florida was reopening. You know what I mean? Like,
Florida open. My daughter got COVID immediately when she went
Yeah.
back to school. So.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was rough. But I mean, I will say I loved getting to be at home with him because I've worked his whole life. So I've got this like long career of like, you know, boss bitch for years. The fact that I got to stay home with him and experience watching him grow from like a little kid into a dude, and that's what she said jokes. I will say he
Oh, yeah.
really added to my comedic bone because you had to find things funny.
Yeah.
And
that's what she said is not funny. No, I'm just kidding.
when it's
I love
basically
that
what you're
sushi
living
picture.
and dying by. I mean, and
I mean,
it was
Michael
great.
Scott, I love.
Well, I remember, okay, me and my son were sitting on the back porch. I tell this joke when I'm in my, like, part of my sketches is when my son decided to finally discover masturbation was during COVID, and he used up all of the toilet paper. But the funnier moment was right before all that happened. Oh, you haven't heard that part of my set?
No, I have, but I'm like, why don't you just use a sock or something? You know?
You would think,
They
right?
usually use
That's
socks.
part of my punchline. Fucker, get on your sock game, right? Or at least do it in the shower. No, we're in a lockdown and you're using all my toilet paper, dickhead. So, but
Especially toilet paper. Yeah,
I know. Oh, then you could only go shopping in a certain window of time, and I'm sitting there. I was the only woman in the house, drip drying for 5 days. Like you would think. I'm sitting there using the cardboard from the roll, roughing it up and like rubbing it in my hands to try to make it softer. Like it was not. I felt like I was
Been
urban
there.
camping.
I've been there.
Well, I don't know. As soon as I heard that there's toilet paper shortage, I went online. I bought a bidet for $13, and I survived the
Oh,
pandemic with one
wow.
roll of toilet paper.
How come I didn't think of that?
Well, so my mom gave me a bidet, but I couldn't hook it up in my bathroom because I didn't have the electrical outlet.
There is no electrical outlet on a bidet. You don't have to get the fancy one. You just use the cold water.
Oh no, my mom had the fancy one.
know.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't
just-
even realize. I didn't even think about it.
No,
But
it's
so-
crazy. Yeah.
Just
but-
plug it in.
Yeah, it just the water pressure. I
But
guess
you have to hook it up to the water system.
it's a little bit of
Wow.
a plumbing thing.
Yeah.
I can help you with it if you get one. But my new apartment, this is how like I jokingly say, God is so good. Because when I got my apartment after selling my house, it came with the fancy Toto toilet. Like
Oh,
it's the
nice.
heated toilet with the bidet that oscillates. It's
Right.
got the
Ooh.
warm dryer across
It's
your
like-
vag.
it's
Oh,
like-
it's baby. It is so
Wow.
nice.
Oh, I'll have to try
Somebody's
that out.
breathing.
Exactly. It's like there's the
Oh,
ASMR.
Once you try a bidet, you never go back.
No,
Like
I did go back
you did go back to toilet paper?
because it
Like
was
a
a
cave
hard
person?
hose digging into it, cold, hard pressure on my vagina.
Oh
Not
no,
your vagina,
mine's
it was on
warm.
my ass.
The water that comes out of mine is
But
warm.
that's why that's
I was
a fancy
somewhere,
one.
I don't know,
I use the
hotel or
cheap one.
something.
Oh, so basically Emery's over here and like,
I use the communist bidet. Icicles just shooting up.
welcome to the gulag. Enjoy the cold stream of water up your butt. Good job, comrade.
It is very funny because we don't use bidets in Hungary, but I tell everybody, just get a bidet. And I went to Paris, which I thought bidets are everywhere.
Oh,
and,
no.
And it is, I don't know if you guys ever been to Paris, it's the most disgusting toilets probably I've ever seen. Public toilets.
Oh, yeah.
Like, crazy.
Yeah.
No seating area, nothing. It's crazy.
Well,
Seating area.
I always like
Yeah, the
Japan.
sitting stuff that you sit on.
Oh, it's just like a rim.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's-
You better be on your hover game.
Yes, yeah.
Strong
I
quads.
couldn't believe it. It was so bad.
Well, Japan, when I lived there,
The
so
robots are wiping your ass.
no, bitch, that is not what I had. So the public toilets are just a hole in the ground. So you have to squat down, and they don't have toilet paper in there. So that's why before you go on the train, they always give you these like little packets of tissue. So you've got to like bring it with you and then dab dry. But I remember going on a field trip. I was in like 3rd or 4th grade. I can't remember exactly.
Oh,
one
wait,
point.
you are talking about like 100 years ago? Or?
Kiss my ass, Emery. You and I have just as much gray hair, bitch. I don't even want to hear it. Okay.
Get it right back.
Exactly.
He wants to roast.
I was
But,
like,
but you said Japan is different. By now, robots are wiping
fuck
your
no,
ass.
it's not. They're plumbing and they're public like I've even asked. They still have the holes in the floor.
I would go there. Where are the robots?
Emery wants this robot wiping his ass, and he wants it now.
I've heard of both of Japan. I've heard the robotic stuff, but I also heard they like to squat because it's better for digestion.
is.
To
Okay, I bought the squatty potty.
Oh yes,
Man,
The
you're
thing-
all about
Wasn't
it.
that on Shark Tank?
I wasn't on Shark, but no.
No,
I don't
the
know.
squatty potty was
I don't
on
know.
Shark
I bought
Tank.
it. I love the advertisements. Have you guys seen the ads?
No, I don't know
With
what
the
it is.
rainbow pony.
Unicorn rainbow
Unicorn.
poop.
Anyway,
Great ad. I mean, honestly, the marketing guy for that
it
was a
is-
fucking
it-
genius.
It is definitely easier to poop when your legs are pretty high up. You know what I mean? It's like you are giving birth. Literally.
Wow.
Which is funny because my mother always said when she gave birth to me, it was like taking the best shit of her life.
Yeah.
So
Oh, wow.
Because you don't care and somebody else will wipe it off. That's why I cannot wait to get old. Like that's why I want. Oh, okay. Bye.
I better get a hot nurse. I mean, I don't care, male, female. I want someone good looking wiping my ass when I'm old.
Oh God.
Why?
You guys are
Because
giving me bad memories.
Giving you bad
did you
memories?
have ugly people wiping your butt?
I had 3 months of wiping ass
Oh,
that I tried. Yeah, at the Dementia Center. And
Oh,
this-
God
Oh, I
bless
thought
you.
you were somebody else was
No.
wiping
yeah. I thought
your
somebody was
ass.
wiping your ass, but you were doing the ass wiping.
Yeah, I had a.
You didn't like it?
I loved it. The fucking dude, my
The look on your face is epic. Like, oh, I loved it. Just, I feel like one of your eyes was about to start twitching. You're like, oh, it was great.
what kind of question?
She's like lived for it. Her whole life was leading up to this moment,
Some
Emery.
people like it. I don't know.
Dude,
And if they do like it, probably you don't want them working with old people. I'm just saying it's fucking weird, Emery.
yeah, no, but I have some crazy stories. Like this one lady, it was my first day, and this lady's digging in her pants and has a big brick and is swinging it near everyone. And it's my first day, and she slams it on the kitchen table because it's a community.
Oh, how
Everyone's
nice of
eating
her.
dinner. And so like they're trying to chase after her, and who had to get the shit? The new girl.
Whoa.
So I had to go get shit
Get
my
that
first
shit
day.
brick.
I just remember trying to, and those people get violent. It's so sad. The
shit. No,
dementia
it's
patients,
yeah,
they don't
yeah.
even let you. And I had to be like, hey, I'm just trying to. And she's like, don't touch me. And I'm like, you haven't had a shower in a week. We need to help you. Like, we had to help you shower. And I'm like trying to like take her clothes off, and because they're like, go in there and shower her, and she's like punching me.
I
It's
want
like,
all of you to promise me right here, right now on a podcast,
Just
so
shoot
it's
you
recorded.
immediately.
Just
I want you
kill
to
me.
take me out back like old Yeller. If I start showing signs of that, just put me out of my,
Yeah.
put me on an ice floe, send me out there. Like,
Yeah.
just I don't want to go through that.
Just
Oh,
watch.
it's so
Just
sad.
watch
If I start
Margie
losing
30
my
minutes
keys
from
too
now.
often, I know,
What
just just poop on your table.
Yeah. It's,
Like, thanks
That's
for inviting
crazy.
me to the
I didn't-
podcast
I
here.
didn't know you did that.
I had a set
That's
maybe
pretty-
2
Flo's a
years
saint.
ago.
I mean,
that's pretty noble.
I'm
like
a
it's
horrible
something.
person actually, but I'm trying.
I
Yeah.
feel like the things that you do for a living that I've heard about, it's almost like
Thank
you're
you.
making up for the whorishness that you've done on
Thank
the
you.
other side.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The word, yeah, it's like I'm like a. I've
You're a
very-
yin and a yang, baby.
It's
I have
very
2 different
schizophrenic what
lives
you
I'm
are
living.
doing, Flo.
Huh?
It's very schizophrenic what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm living
like,
2 different lives.
Mother Teresa, but at the same time.
But it's really. It's
Hey,
just,
Mother Teresa's got to get a D every once in a while, all right?
Well, actually, this is why people think that like I get up there and I'll say all this dick and vagina, but really it's because my mom was the nymphomaniac talking about dick and vagina my whole
Maybe
life.
your mom
Oh my
should
God,
do-
that's funny.
Maybe
Mine
your
too.
mom should do-
She's
Mine too.
She got up on my mic 2 years ago.
I know, I saw her
And
at
you
that
saw her
time.
twerking and talking
Yeah.
dick and vagina. That's her language, dick and vagina. So I learned that from her. But yeah, I
So you're
talk
just,
it, but I don't
you are
really.
just a proxy comedian. You know what I mean? Like,
She's just the
go on.
mouthpiece for
Your mom is like
mouthpiece.
yeah.
a mouthpiece. Sure.
Yeah.
No, I feel like that's really true because I used to think, okay, yeah, I went through my hoe phases, but in all honesty, like the person who was the most pervy that would talk about things really too far and way like for a mother, I don't want to know that my mom's had threesomes with my best friend's dad. Like
Yeah,
who wants
why
to
should
know
we
that?
We're not supposed to know that.
I
But I,
shouldn't
knew it
know that.
all. I knew all
yeah,
the details.
same.
Really?
My
Oh,
mother
see?
shared overshare.
Overshare.
Yeah,
Wait,
please.
oh, God.
Overshare, guys.
Oh.
There's a lot.
There's so much. I mean, and I remember being like, how many times I've heard my mother having sex is so inappropriate. Like, at least try
Like
to.
talking about it or hearing
No,
her?
hearing it. I was after I got done with the surgery
Luckily,
once.
that never happened. I knew one time
I
my
could
dad
just
actually
smell
sent
it.
something.
I never
Oh.
heard it. I
You
just
could-
smelled
I
it.
never
Oh
heard her
God,
having
no! I
sex.
never had to smell it.
From
Thank
the
God.
boyfriend with one eye. I've tried doing sets on it. I gotta edit because it's just not funny. It's just gross.
It's
Yeah.
almost just you almost re-traumatize
Yeah,
yourself.
and everyone's like, "What?"
What?
But I literally had to start telling my mom. I remember going to see a therapist, and she was like,
Yeah.
you can tell your mother you're not sharing that information with her because my mom would grill me about who I was sleeping with and how big their dick was, and I mean, I'm going, okay, fine. I guess I have to
That
tell
is
my
crazy. My mom never asked me that.
mom. Oh,
Well,
must
most
be fucking
moms-
nice.
How-
Most
how-
moms
Moms are
don't.
like that. Yeah,
How
it's
big
funny
their
that your
dick-
mom is like that because that's actually an interesting.
Oh my God, guys!
similarity.
Yeah.
How big their dick was? My mom.
I know. I imagine.
I'm dropping golden nuggets here and like nothing.
I'm serious. My mother, like, one of the last times I went up to visit her, I told her that I'd gone on a date with this really attractive man who happened to be black, and he was from like an African nation. He was really, really nice, and I was speaking about him as like all of his amazing characteristics. What's the first fucking question she asked me? Ooh, how big was his dick?
Yeah,
It's none of
That's
your
my mom,
fucking
too.
business.
That's my mom.
but normal size. We get it.
That's what I told her.
You're
Listen,
gonna be disappointed, Mom.
yeah. I mean, in truth, no. It was quite nice. It was. I mean, he looked like he was carved out of fucking onyx. He was gorgeous.
Nice.
I'm not gonna lie. I felt like I was punching above my weight on that one. I just, whew, he is so fine. But
Where is he now?
Gainesville. Actually, we still keep in contact. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Did Mom get to meet him?
Fuck no.
Yeah.
No, my mom
Leave
is
her
not
out of
allowed
it.
to meet anybody else that I date. I don't think actually me and my mom haven't spoken in months.
Yeah, I understand.
I had like my
family.
therapist said like you need to put that woman in a box. Just
Oh wow, that's so
Only
funny. We have
open it
stuff
for
in
20
common.
minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I love my mom. I've had my moments like
I
that.
love my mother.
Oh, we will always love
Always.
our moms.
I love her in
but
her
it's-
box on a shelf.
It's a toxic thing
Mm-hmm.
that you gotta. But the only reason I've kept communication with my dad too. Now he's blocked now, but the only reason I kept the communication is everyone's like, "Oh, imagine if they died, and then you're gonna feel horrible." My therapist is like, "You've really gave a lot of chances. You gave it your all. You saw him so many times.
Yep.
You shouldn't feel that if that were to happen.
Yeah.
You should.
Right.
You gave it your all.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. I think because I think when you as a person you do grieve that relationship because you see all your other friends with their happy fucking families around the holidays and you're like you feel like that sad like Charlie Brown Christmas outside the window.
All of my friends are comics mostly.
Yeah.
They do not have happy families.
I feel
We're
like
all-
that,
yeah.
I feel like if you have a happy family, you don't become a comic. Like you
You're
just
right. It's like what? Right. It just wouldn't make sense.
humor is born of suffering. Like if you have to learn how to laugh at the terrible shit.
Yeah.
And
I
I
mean,
think
my
that-
family was great. It's just communism that made me who I am today.
Well, you
Oh,
know,
well, that can fuck stuff.
Because,
Yeah,
you know, I
kid.
was a kid, so I was like 12 years old when it ended. So I definitely have
it
memories.
wasn't even communism. That's what kills me. So many people like, sorry, this is the hill I will die on every day. I'm so sick of people saying it was communism. No, it wasn't. It was a fascist regime. It has always been fascism. And it's literally just a wolf in sheep's clothing that they sold to a bunch of poor people. That was it. It was a bunch of dudes that wanted to take power and they sold it to the
But
poor people.
It's the same thing. You know,
Like,
doesn't matter.
and I'm watching it over here happen too. And it's so annoying. I'm like, wake up, everybody. It wasn't communism. It was just fascism. You've got the same thing here. Like, come on. Sorry, political science. That's my.
Oh,
Is
is that what you
I'm
did?
glad you care though, because I'm
Yeah.
glad someone cares, because half the world does not. They would prefer to live in their bubbles, and like, well, I don't have to worry about it. I'm gonna just do my life. You know.
But it's affecting everybody.
It is.
But
you know,
some people are choosing to not even acknowledge.
So I was fascinated by the fact that my mother and her entire generation was so just like socialism is communism, and I was like, where did this come from? Like, because democratic socialism is not the same thing.
No,
like,
no. Yeah.
we already have a democratic socialist country. That's why we have Social Security. Like, I don't know why you people don't get it, but I figured it out. I was researching and found out that across the country, especially in Florida, they had a specific curriculum that they were taught their senior year of high school that they had to take. And it started the year that Castro took over. And it was called Americanism versus Communism. And it was basically a curriculum that taught that McCarthyism was a good thing. And it taught them that socialism and communism were synonymous. It forced them to take this class. And that's such a
Oh, I see
fomentable
what you mean.
age. You had to take it to graduate. And they didn't stop teaching that curriculum until 1992. So when you think about all of these people that have been just indoctrinated into this belief, I'm like, okay, well, I get it. I don't like it, but I understand why. And that's why I start as a teacher. I really I try to educate the students when I go into class. Like, if I'm teaching a social studies class, I will teach them about the 1619 project.
I would love for you to just come and be my
I can
sub.
just picture you that you have to teach completely something different, and you go in there and you're like, "This is what I'm gonna teach today."
Pretty fucking much.
the lessons never happen. At least in
Oh,
my
really?
experience, most of the time, unless I know that sub really well and they're here all the time, I'm like, can you? But even then, it's like doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen with a sub. But I would even just being able to have a sub like you just get up there and like talk to them and storytelling wise and teach them something is great, because most of the time with subs there, even if they pass out a paper I prepared, half the class doesn't do it. And nothing ended up happening.
Or the subs don't even know what they're talking. Like, they don't know the material that you're teaching. And I think that that's what I do bring that's like special is that I
Yes,
do
you
know
do,
these
you do.
subjects really well.
You do.
So when I covered like a social studies class that was also covering, it was like financial literacy, right? Which is great because I used to teach modern portfolio theory to corporate America, right?
Nice.
You know, you wouldn't know I'm a kind of a boss bitch. I'm just saying. I mean, you know, I do what I do. But these kids, I made it applicable. I'm like, okay, so who's got a job yet? And they were like, we're looking for them. I'm like, okay, so number one, let's talk about what it takes to get a job. I want you to look around your neighborhood, look at the different businesses, write a list down, go to those businesses face to face and say, hey, I'm a high school kid. Do you have any programs for us? Because companies like ViStar and different banks in the neighborhoods, they do like stuff for high school kids to help them get into those different industries. They're trying to get them young so that they're kind of ready for the workforce. Grooming, if you will. But the other thing I said, okay, let's go over W-2s. Okay, why is that important? What do you have to claim? And I went over at the end of it, I said, okay, let's talk about, actually saving, what the difference between a mutual fund, stock, and bonds and ETFs are.
Nice.
Who else covers that? I don't know. But these kids at the end of it, I'd given them like lists of stuff that were applicable to what they were doing and then gave them action steps in their like communities to go and try that. And every time I go back to the schools, they love seeing me. I had to teach a world music class over at one of the middle schools. And I started off by being like, okay, this is where music came from. This is like the birthplace of beats. And then I took them on a musical journey from like Africa.
Chicago? Oh, okay.
No, you would think, right? We started in Africa, taught them about Mali, right? How a lot of like David Bowie and all these guys used the music and the beats from Mali and the tribal sounds out of the Tuareg and like the desert, like even Bono and the guys from U2. And then I actually had it like the basically apex of the class was I was like, all right, here's where everything comes together. Cause I had them playing Stromae from France. And they loved that because everybody's heard that Alors on danse. Like, but I played a couple more songs from him so they could understand kind of what his music's about.
Yeah.
And then I played Beyonce and there's a couple of other artists that are from Africa and it's that power song. And they were like, oh, I get it. Cause it put it all together. Like the regular teacher, she can teach all like the curriculum stuff. When I'm in there, I try to add color to it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We all do.
Yeah.
But it's because you care and not everybody does. And there's a lot of teachers too that just don't care.
Well, they're beat down.
Yeah.
That's why I do
They
comedy.
are. So
It brings some levity.
In Hungary, we don't have this substitute. Well, we didn't have the substitute system. Another teacher was the sub. So let's say my math teacher was out, then the English teacher came in or whatever language.
That's how it's supposed to be, but
So
we have
we
a
didn't have
massive
subs.
teacher shortage. Like
we
that's
don't,
the problem.
Yeah, we actually have vacancies right now. And actually they're looking for just a sub that wants to stay there every day until they get one because it's better stability for the kids. Which, by the way,
sure.
I love teaching. I love middle school. We're here to say they're wild people, but they're funny.
They are funny.
And,
they give us lots of material.
Oh, I have a whole teacher set because of them.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
appreciate
All
it.
right.
But
Well, let's start this podcast talking about comedy.
let's ask you, how did you start? What's your style? Before we end
No,
here,
no
we
problem. I
want
know,
about
right? So what got me into comedy? So it started off, actually I left an abusive relationship where he was constantly telling me I wasn't funny. And I don't know, maybe.
And that's it.
you stupid.
No, you would think, right? So no.
I'm not.
So I got in my car and I took the fuck off.
Wait, you need to say, the way you said that, although I feel for you.
Yeah.
Use that because it's a very funny punchline.
Right?
And it's
To me, it's
misdirected
hilarious.
because you said abusive. And I'm like,
I
oh my
wasn't
God,
funny, yes.
we're expecting domestic violence. Then he said,
he said I'm not funny.
Write that down.
I mean, that's
Use
that's
that
really
in
funny.
your
It was
material.
so abusive. He told me I wasn't funny.
Yes,
Try
I mean, that-
that.
I will try
That's
that.
why I was laughing.
Try
That's
that.
perfect.
That's perfect.
Yeah, well, I mean, he
learned
said a
too,
lot of
but-
other hurtful shit, but like, it was one of those things like anytime somebody's ever told me like, you can't do that, I've been like, watch me.
Yes.
I'm gonna do it.
That's the good
I
side.
had a therapist once tell me like, when I said I want to go to law school, he was like, yeah, good luck with that. I'm going, well, buddy.
Therapist said that.
Oh, he was. It was.
See,
It was an
I've
either
been-
abusive therapist.
I've been saying for
Dude,
so
wasn't
long.
The
fun.
mental health system in Florida sucks balls.
For sure.
See,
yeah.
I've been telling everyone there are horrible therapists that should not be therapists.
There's some really sexist therapists in
I-
Florida.
I for years I didn't realize it, and actually
If
the
you
good.
go out of state, up north, you will
So
see
much
that,
better.
You will see the difference. You know what I
See,
mean? If you
I'm-
meet somebody from
I'm
out
really
of
Oh,
state,
yeah.
sick of
the
Florida.
healthcare is horrible here.
I'm sick
The
of
healthcare
Oh
is
Florida.
bad,
yeah,
and
I
apparently
feel like
the
living in
thing.
Florida is like being in a fucking domestic violence relationship. I'm in an abusive relationship being in the state. I'm just like, I need to leave. Just
Nobody's
leave.
funny. Yes.
But so he
All
said
right.
he said I wasn't funny, right? And like amongst other things, and I was like, well, fuck that, I'm gonna try it. So
No, but
interestingly
that's
enough,
just an a-hole move.
Yeah,
Like,
so-
you're a
Yeah, right. I
supportive
mean-
partner.
Right.
Supportive
Yeah.
partner.
You need somebody supportive.
They
I
should
think
support your
everyone
dreams
does.
and goals and what you're doing.
yes.
So,
And I mean, or at least, fucking placate my, laugh at a couple of my nerdy jokes or something. So I decided when I was on the road, I was like, I'm gonna go try stand up. So I was in New York City in the Bronx, and I was out on a date with the very attractive, tall, dark, and handsome man. And we
Nice.
both love stand-up comedy, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to pretend that
wow,
I'm a
that's
stand-up
great.
comedian. So we went into this bar in the Bronx, which of all places, everyone's like, oh, the Bronx is so dangerous. I was like, nah, the fuck it's not. It was great.
I went to Harlem and it wasn't even that bad.
No.
Actually, I'm like, you guys said
There's
it's
so much
horrible.
propaganda about
I
like
know,
all
I'm
these
like-
places. I was like,
I'm walking around, I'm buying Mexican food off
yeah,
the street. I'm like, oh.
I didn't get any digestive problems. Nobody tried to mug me. It was fucking great.
I never heard about the digestive problems in the Bronx.
Street food. Street food. I was referring to street food. But I walked in and this guy, he was actually the guy running the mic that night. And he looked like Quagmire from
Oh, really?
Family Guy.
Quag-
And
yeah,
he
yeah.
sounded like him. He had the big head, dark hair. And he did the bit. And I said, hey, I'm a traveling comedian. I'm actually a stand-up comedian. I'm a stand-up comedian from Florida. I was like, if you guys need time to fill, I'm more than happy to. And I had never done it before, but I just walked up with all
So
the confidence of a
wait,
mediocre
wait.
white man.
Nice.
You were representing Florida. It's the first time migrant in New York.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
funny.
That's why we have such bad names.
No.
Nobody's
and
booking.
in a
Do
straight
you
up
guys
all,
remember the chick?
and it was an all black audience too. So I was
Oh,
not.
nice.
So I was like, I'm like, let's see if I can fucking do this.
Yeah.
And I killed. And I was like,
Nice.
it felt so good. And I did the bit about my son using all the toilet paper and making Mount Doom. And it was all these like black moms that were in there and they're like, yes, girl. Like they loved the set. And I went and sat down and the guy I was with was like, that was the hottest thing ever. I've never seen like somebody just go up and do it.
Oh, that's
and so
awesome.
then I was staying in DC and they had a place called Galactic Panther. And it's over in Alexandria. And they had a mic every week. And I was like, I'm just going to start going. I started going to the mics in DC and going and watching the shows. I'd go to New York and go to the Broadway Comedy Club and I'd see how they would do their stuff.
Oh, Broadway Comedy Club. I
Yeah.
was booked there.
Oh, really? It's
Yeah.
so cool.
Nice.
And
I didn't go, but I was.
you should have
booked there.
gone. It's a really good
nice.
time.
But they canceled the show. They moved it a week later, and they're like, "Are you still gonna be in New York?" I'm like, "No,
No.
I don't move. I'm not."
You're like, I can't afford to stay in New York a week. What are you talking about?
That was funny, but I got into another one. It's called the Producers Club.
Oh, cool.
It was great. It was great.
So
Shout out.
shout out to Producers Club and Broadway Comedy.
No, Broadway
So
Comedy
I
Club.
would go because I wanted to actually open my own club when I came back to Jacksonville. I legit was thinking about like, what am I going to do? What's my next step? But anyway, I was
Everybody
going.
wants to open their own club, but nobody does.
It's fucking expensive.
it.
That's
it is
why.
No,
Say
it is
do it.
expensive, and it's not a big money maker thing. Well, you have. To
I feel
know
like you got to
people.
inherit the property.
Well, I mean, Rogan opened it just
bad.
point blank in Austin, but he was Rogan, right?
It's
Like, he
Rogan.
had the
Yeah.
background.
I would rather tie myself to the back of a Jeep than do anything Rogan's done. I'm sorry.
well, I tried to suck some dicks to get on the freaking mothership, but I didn't.
Actually, a funny story about sucking dicks. So I went on the Jon Stewart, The Problem. I got free tickets to go to The Problem while I was in New York. After I was doing like the Broadway comedy show and like watching them, and I remember her saying, by the way, she said these people would like kill their money. They
Yeah.
would kill their mothers for mic time. And I thought to myself, I could do this. Like that was. I'm like, you're speaking to my soul.
Done and done.
Done and done. Where's the shank? So I went to the Jon Stewart show while I was up there because I love the writing on The Daily Show, on The
Sure.
Problem. Because again, I don't know if you guys have picked up on this. I'm kind of a smart bitch. And I am very in touch with like what's going on politically and globally and all that stuff. And I was like, I think I could really do that. I could write jokes and really good questions.
Oh,
for
like
some
you
of these
mean
people.
a writer?
Yeah, I would love to write for like one of those shows.
Well, they are really anal about setup and punchline.
Oh, then I'm
Yeah,
then
I
I'm
mean,
fucked.
You have
Yeah.
to be really good at that. If you
Where?
watch everywhere, if you
Everywhere.
want to write for TV,
If you want to write for
Oh.
Colbert or any of them.
it's always set up punch, set up punch. You just watch their monologue.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
all set up punch, set up.
But I think that's also a bone you've got to like a muscle you got to learn.
Muscle, yes.
Yeah, it's a
I mean,
muscle.
that-
It's not
yeah.
a bone. If it was
I
a bone,
wasn't-
I would stroke it. But it's
I wasn't born with this. You know, I mean, it took me years to be this good.
yeah.
But anyway, keep
6
going.
fucking years and you too could be Emery. But so I went on the Jon Stewart show and I remember he was going to the audience asking, anybody have questions. I raised my hand and said, how do I get to work on this? Like, I want to write on a show like this. How would you suggest getting started? And he laughed and he had like this really kind of interesting way of saying it. He goes, well, it's in this business, it's really just about, putting in your time. And he was but the way he said it, you could tell there was like a subtext. So of course, you know me, I like to do like a shout back when I hear something like that. I'm like out loud in front of the whole audience. I'm like, so how many dicks do I have to suck?
Yeah.
And his producer was standing on the side and
2.
cracked up.
Oh, I thought he said 2.
No.
His producer anyway.
One right here.
One right here, and the producer laughed, and I thought, okay, well, at least I
At
got
least you got that.
at least I got that laugh. So
Yeah.
that's kind of that's why when I came back to Jacksonville, I was like, I just need to find the different mics here and shout
You're
out.
gonna say
They find the right dicks here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I thought you were gonna say
there are a
that.
lot of dicks in this comedy scene.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not into sucking
A
them
lot.
all, but
So, for example, I think you can submit sketches to SNL. I think that's still a thing. You can submit to all these places, and if you're good, they will pick you up. You don't have to move there.
well, and I also heard I'm reading or listening to a book right now called Tough Crowd, and it's by the guy that wrote Black Books and Father Ted. And he got in a lot of trouble for like some of his stances on transsexual stuff. And so, but his book, he actually says, just submit work to producers.
Right.
Like, actually, don't be afraid to like send producer stuff because of the fact that they're not there to steal your ideas. They're actually looking for people.
Oh yeah, and they had read thousands of them. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Thousands.
So I actually started working on a screenplay about my grandmother, Sophie, the Arabic old lady. And it's basically like a sitcom about the hijinks that ensues, because from my perspective, I feel like my grandmother was actually like talking like, I don't understand Arabic. So I'd go and hang out at her house and she'd have people that had just immigrated from Syria. And so I would basically on the show have up top like what they were actually saying versus what I thought they were saying. So, I'm thinking that they're talking about like how they smuggled people out or like were money laundering or whatever. And like they're actually just talking about baking bread or whatever,
Groceries, get some milk.
Exactly.
That's funny.
But stories about the fact that like she literally asked, there was one point in time when she was going to Syria and I worked in a banking industry where you have to do mandatory reporting. My brother did a job where he is, required to report stuff to the federal government. And she comes out with a pantyhose stuffed with cash. And she's like, can you guys help me tie this around my waist? And we're like, what the fuck? We can't see that. Put that away. No. And like stuff like that. My grandmother she has zero like wherewithal. Like she said to me once, she goes, Marlena, I would rather you be gay than date a black man. And this is around her kitchen table in front of everybody. And I'm
Look
like,
how
well,
that turned out, right?
yeah, I looked at her and said, hey, I got some bad news for you. I've done both. And she's like, and my mom was like, I can't believe you said that in front of your grandmother. Well, she fucking asked. I don't know what to tell you.
Lie.
I like that.
Yeah.
I hope you write that down.
Oh yeah.
Write that down.
Yeah. But that's how I started doing it. And it's been so cathartic. And I think,
Yes.
Good. No, it is.
It's
to
really
me
nice.
As well. You can't tell it from my face, but it is.
yeah,
Cathartic.
it's very cathartic. You still have that communist dead face sometimes.
No,
Yep.
definitely.
It's there.
I
It
keep
is
them
there.
upstairs.
That's why you have the
Communist dead
bidet.
faces. The bidet.
Now it
yeah.
makes sense.
But I came to the comedy mic over at Shantytown and no, Rain Dogs. I'm sorry. Rain Dogs was the first one. I went to Bucks because I thought it was supposed to be starting early, but surprise, it fucking didn't.
I mean, that's the latest mic we have.
Oh my God. It was advertised to start at 9 and that was a lie.
Oh, okay.
But so I got there and Cam Marciano was there. Big ups to Cam. And he gave me a list of all the different mics while I was there because he was like, oh, you're new. Here's all the different mics.
Yeah.
Well,
And
Imre
that's why I have
created. It's probably Imre's.
I'm pretty sure the screenshot. So my Facebook banner is all the mics we have.
And he's had that for like 3
years.
4
That's
years
probably
or
what
something.
Cam sent me.
Yeah.
And so then I started going to
I need to
Shantytown
update.
and then I ran into you and you were like, I've got this thing at Justice Pub. I was like, fuck yeah.
Where did we meet? Which meet? Do you remember?
God,
where we
which
met?
mic did we meet at?
I know Huh?
You guys go first.
I was gonna say it. Was it my mic or no? Did I meet you before it and say, "Hey, come to my mic"?
We met before.
And I said, "Come to my."
And
mic.
you said,
It
come to
must
my
have been
mic. And I
at a
can't remember
mic.
what the first mic was that I met you at, though. But I just remember going, oh, yeah, I'm definitely going to the Justice Pub. And you were awesome. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm home.
Aw,
It was
thank you.
great.
I'm glad to have you. I'm glad we met. You're
Yeah,
awesome.
me too.
Yeah.
It's nice to have comedians that are actually supportive and not just out to kill others and like competitive and like and clicks and just
Right.
Yeah,
I don't
no.
like
I
that.
try to
We're
stay
all in the
out.
same boat.
Well,
you know
no,
what
I mean, right, but also I don't know. I don't want to say it's a. Actually, you know what? I don't know. I mean, it's run. It seems like you said lots of dicks around here. A lot of it is run by men, but at the same time, women can cause some gossip, some drama. But the men around here, it's like it's all a man run thing.
And I started to notice like some of the frat boy-esque behaviors. And one of the things, Elise, she was talking to me about, she goes, you're one of the most supportive, like, comedians I've seen in our scene. She's like, you're like that mom energy. You're like, yeah, baby, you can do it.
Yeah.
Get up on stage. Like,
So
Supposed
she
to be
called you
supportive.
mom? All right.
yeah. What did you think
I wasn't
she
the
called
only
me?
one. Okay.
Yeah. You're not the only one. I give off mom energy apparently.
You're supportive, and I try to be supportive because I would want support
Yeah.
back. But
Yeah.
there's always some like wolves out there that are just like
Yeah, and I think it's just
shitting on people for no reason.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
like,
get
dude,
that.
come on.
And I don't have it in me to number one, if it's a toxic environment, I'm not gonna go there. But I'm also not gonna go into a situation with everybody's preconceived notions. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go in, see what it's about, and if it sucks balls, I won't go back.
Right.
But if it's good, then I'll continue to go if I've got time to go and I'm not exhausted from dealing with children. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I think that's been my mindset about everything. I will give everybody one chance.
Yeah.
You fuck it up that one time, okay, I'm not going to keep exposing myself to that cuz I mean, the only people I allow to re-traumatize me are family. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
I know, right? Because they're your family.
and I'm kind of full up on that shit too. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
But I like Imre, I've always loved your style.
Yeah.
I
we
really
met
enj-
at Rain Dogs.
We met
I
at
think,
Rain Dogs,
right?
yeah. And I was first of all, I thought you were Austrian when I first heard you talk. You sounded like
I have somebody coming to my mic and she thinks I'm from Ireland.
Ireland.
Yes.
There's no
right,
Irish
exactly.
accent
Everybody's
at
like,
all.
what? No.
Where the fuck do you get Ireland
I have
from?
no idea. She's like, are you Irish? Like she asked me the first time. She asked me the
Sounds
second time
ignorant.
we met. No, I know it's time.
No,
Yeah.
I'm good. This is fun.
No,
honestly.
it's
It's
always
fun
fun.
having you.
Thanks.
But-
I knew
But
this
yeah,
was gonna just flow.
it was a good time. I would love to do this
That-
more often with you.
Right.
guys.
That's what I'm saying. Like once you start recording, it most of the time it's like it's gone. 1
Oh,
hour
yeah.
is gone.
But no, I loved your style. I thought it was really cool when I met you.
Thanks.
Like I said, I thought you were Austrian because the Hungarian accent and the Austrian accent are very similar.
Yeah.
You're like Jacksonville's skinny version of, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I close my eyes and I'm like, oh, it's like being in Vienna. And then and then I went to yours and I was like, this is really, and then Nehemiah Pie was there.
Yes.
And he booked me for Funny Mondays, which I don't know what happened to those, but it was
I
great.
know, those-
I'm not sad it's over because I was really kind of tired of smelling like cigar smoke.
I know. That's
Fuck.
one thing. I'm like, my hair, my
Oh,
clothes,
yeah.
everything. It's like,
Yeah. But and then going up to St. Mary's with I will say Sean Steele has been really cool. I think he also likes to encourage people, and I really
Yeah.
like that.
I have no like Sean. Yeah.
Yeah, I that's the other thing. I can't imagine in LA or New York or any of the other larger places. Chicago, I think people would be pretty cool. Hannibal Buress goes to my friend's bar pretty regularly up in Chicago, and I'm like, if I ran into him, oh my god. But I don't imagine that the community of comedians would be as nurturing because you've got so many comedians in those cities that it's really cutthroat.
very
Yeah.
competitive.
Yeah. Whereas here, we're
I-
all
I
about
never-
like, hey, let's book each other. Let's like help each other build on our skill sets.
But
So I like
here's
that.
the thing. So that's new, right? Like we didn't have that before. That's why I'm saying I love what Sean is doing, opening up rooms, opening up venues, doing mics, blah blah blah, because he's building it up.
Yeah.
So I performed in a bunch of cities, from here to Paris, Hungary, whatever.
How do I get booked in France, by the way? You need to help me with
I will
that.
send you the links. But I never had a bad experience that people would be disrespectful or anything like that. But I was thinking maybe because I'm a dude, right? So
Oh, I dare someone to be disrespectful to me. Oh,
but
please.
you know what I'm saying. So
And it's open
but
season.
I never, honestly, even in New York, LA, I didn't do comedy, but in New York, Austin, everybody was supportive. Like
Tears have just moved to if it's either somewhere in California. She said it's
I thought it was
much,
Texas. But
is
okay,
it?
whatever.
No, I think it's.
I don't know. Let's not give
Somewhere
out
over
locations of
there.
our friends.
Well, the point is she was saying they're much more nurturing than Jacksonville. She said. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh.
No,
well,
because Margie is in that circle that they are building stuff. You and I are out of that. I don't do Sean's stuff, not because I just have stuff to
Yeah,
do.
you got stuff going on.
You know what I mean? So
I've
I'm not,
gotten in it since I came back from Brazil. But
Yeah,
I was
you
gone
have.
2 months, and I came back, and I'm like, who's Sean Steele?
Right.
Who's the? I'm like,
He's
But
the
okay.
that's what I'm
bald
saying.
dude booking shit,
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying. The OGs are, they're doing their own thing. They're doing the same thing, whatever. And I like Sean that they came on the scene.
Yeah,
and
more
steering
opportunities
things up.
for
Yeah,
everybody.
absolutely.
So, shameless plug. I got tapped.
Oh yeah, plug your stuff.
Yeah, I've got the show on December 11th where I'm going to be doing the Toys for Tots event at South Bank Hotel.
I'll be there with you.
Yep.
I won't be
Are you
there.
in the third block like me? Because I basically got stuck at the end of the night because apparently my filthy mouth should not be the opening the show.
Me too.
Okay.
It's either second or third.
Okay. So my son's going to be there. It should be interesting because he said he
Aw.
wants to see me work, which I think is cool. Take your kid to work day.
Yes.
Don't try to traumatize your child. And then I also have January 11th. There's the women's comedy show at Lynch's. I think it's January 11th is the date that we've set down. And it's all women comics that are going to be working in the Lynch's back room. So come see that. And then starting after the new year, I'm going to be starting a mic called Hump Day Comedy.
Oh nice.
On Wednesdays at Hardwick's. So it's going to
Cool.
be hosted at the gay bar, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really
Nice.
looking forward to that.
Perfect, because we moved our mic to Tuesday. So
Awesome.
Well,
And
I
that was the other thing. I didn't want to step on people's toes. So we're still not
yours is
deciding if
on
it's going to be weekly or bi-weekly. I think it'd be
But
funny if it
has
was
to be
bi-weekly because I'm bi.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Yes.
the
Gay-
bi-weekly hosted by your bi
Here's the
host.
thing, I hate bi-weekly mics just because you never know when it's on. People are like, is this on this week? Is this on this
That's
week?
why I
Is
say
this on this
first
week?
Wednesday.
So yours is different because it's once. It's either has to be once a month or weekly. That's just
or
my
say
opinion.
first and second.
I think I'm going to do first and second. And the reason
No,
I'm...
don't do the first.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
gotta
Shit,
come
sorry.
to mine.
I'm sorry. I'll do second and third.
No, hey. do
No,
your-
Yeah, you do
honestly,
your-
because I don't
yeah.
like missing yours. I love yours. So I'll probably do like second and third. And the reason I say that is because second and third, and then if I want, I'll throw a showcase in every time there's
Oh,
that
that's
month
a
with
good idea.
because I really want
But
to
try-
get the best people. And I'm throwing this out there to all the comics. Dress the fuck up. Like if you're coming to the gay bar, look hot. Like come out dressed up.
I always look out, so I'm good.
Well, that's true. Yeah, you give good bear energy. I mean, because it's a place where the pegging jokes are going to work. Like all of the stuff that we talk about, I think is really going to fly
AIDS
really well
jokes
there.
gonna work.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not the AIDS jokes. Well, we're going to put those in the pocket, maybe.
Yeah, I
But-
did really well in gay bars. Not with jokes, but just
I imagine you got plenty of free
not
drinks.
anymore. Not anymore.
Whatever.
I'm too old.
Oh, you are not too old. Are you kidding me? You're never too old for the gay bar.
Never too old.
No, I mean I go there, but nobody's hitting on me. That's
We
all.
just got to put you in a little fishnets. Like, well, I'll dress you
Well,
up. We'll look
I
good.
have pictures of me with the fishnet croc top thing. Yeah.
Baby.
There it is.
That's going to be, so basically when we do the flyers, that's going to be the picture of Imre that we put on the
Right
flyer.
on the front.
Since then I'm self-conscious. That's
Whatever, honey. I've seen some seriously interesting outfits, but yeah, this has been a lot of fun. And I look forward to, you know,
What time? What time do you think it'll be?
I'm probably going to be starting it a little bit later, probably like 8:39ish.
oh wow.
And the reason I'm doing it a little bit later, number one, we don't party at the gay bar till a little bit later, and number
True.
two,
Okay.
that will give like if people are going to somebody else's mic that's earlier on a Wednesday, it'll give them a chance to come out to mine. You know,
Right. Well, our mic is moving, so we are moving it to Tuesday. the
Okay.
Comedy Zone one.
so that works out really well actually. So then maybe we'll do it at an average hour. I know that like for example karaoke they normally start there around like 8:00 anyway. So if the
Oh,
mic
okay.
is at 8, that makes sense because if they start their events at 8:00
Yeah,
on regular.
we're gonna probably start at 8 as well because Comedy Zone was early, right? We started at like 6:45, 7.
yeah, and it's hard.
It's hard to get there after work.
The idea
Yeah.
was to get there and you can hop on another
and
mic.
Yeah.
go to mine. Right. That's
Right.
why you would come to mine after sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. But sometimes I'm just too tired when you
It's
I
tiring,
take
yeah.
everything down. Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Sorry I cut you off. You were saying.
No, you're fine. I was just saying thank you guys for
Thank
having
you.
me. This was
Yeah,
really
this is a lot
cool.
of
Thank
fun.
you for coming.
Yeah.
Always good to talk with you.
I love hanging out with
I
you
could go
guys.
all day with you.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Hours.
I was about to say we could spend a lot more time, but this was fun.
All right,
Thank you
well,
guys
thanks
for having
coming
me.
on. Yeah.
Thank
So-
you so
All right.
much. And
Yeah.
do you want to plug your
Socials.
handles?
Plug your
Yeah,
socials.
so I just have one handle. It's on Instagram. It's MarG Comedy. That's MARG as in George Comedy on Instagram. Anything other than that, I don't give that out because, stalkers. Just kidding. It's not like I'm going to ever have stalkers. But if I do,
Never
I hope
know.
they're hot.
All right. Plug Flo yours.
Yep.
Flo plug.
Yep. Flow funny. Gringa loca.
Gringa Loca.
And,
You have two now, right? Like you
yeah.
have the Portuguese.
Right. That's for my Brazilian stand-up comedy
All right.
show Friday. Although I don't know when this will be published, but open mics
That's
next
awesome.
week.
So the people gonna speak Portuguese?
No.
Oh, I thought that was.
I actually reached out to the Brazilian community, but I don't know.
They
It's
were
not
like,
that big.
"Quê?
here.
Que? Boa noite.
Is that how you say? Is that how you say what? In
K.
but is
K.
it spelled the same? QUE?
Yep.
Yeah.
K.
Okay.
K.
I just learned it
Okay.
from South Park. I'm like so
Oh,
racist.
really?
That's why I'm sorry. I'm racist because of South Park. Really.
That's funny.
You're not racist. You're just
idiot.
ill-informed. You're just a moron. We're not mad at you.
Right. And I am stand up everywhere. All right. Are you guys ready for the last clap?
Yep.
Yep.
Hopefully not the last clap, but 1, 2, 3. Yay!
Yeah, did you hear that? We got the lowdown on the streets where the talk's at. From the hood to Hollywood, we spilling all the tea. Ain't no secret safe, no, we bring the heat. We dropping names and we dishing the dirt. Psst, did you hear that? Spreading rumors like crack, ain't no turning back. We the real OGs taking it to the airwaves. Psst, did you hear that? Getting the scoop, all the celeb facts, you better listen up, cause we run this podcast.